Hello, and welcome to Florida Trend Executive Perspective Podcast. I'm David Denor, President and Publisher of Florida Trend. Each month, Amy Keller, our Executive Editor, and I will sit down with a C-suite Florida executive from across different industry sectors for an in-depth conversation about their role, mission, and vision for the organizations they lead. We'll look forward to diving into personal and business perspectives from these leaders. A special thank you to our podcast sponsor, Florida Polytechnic University. They are a tremendous business partner and an incredible asset to the state of Florida. We thoroughly appreciate their support of Florida Trend. Our guest today is Andrew Koenig. Andrew is the CEO of City Home, where he leads the company's strategy, growth, and customer experience initiatives. With a focus on making stylish, high-quality home furnishings more accessible, he has helped guide City Home's expansion while emphasizing thoughtful design, value, and exceptional service. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's go back in history a little bit. The company started with your Uncle Kevin and your father building out Waterbed City.
Yeah.
And that became successful, building out, was it 14 stores?
Yep. Started in a little store in 1971, Waterbed store, a couple of hippies, and I think it was like a 500 square foot store. Just was like a summer business idea. It turned into an actual South Florida retail waterbed chain.
That was successful until the mid-90s, where they pivoted. They saw a change. Waterbeds weren't as exciting, or people weren't purchasing them the same way that they had in the past. And then we jump ahead to today, where you're pivoting the company once again to take on a rebrand of City Home. And I want to get into that in a little bit, but I have to ask you, as somebody grew up in college on a waterbed, sleeping on a waterbed, first off, were you required to sleep on a waterbed growing up? And is there any comeback for the waterbeds?
Yeah. So first off, I grew up on waterbeds. My dad just got rid of his waterbed like a couple months ago.
Did he?
For the first time ever. And I think he had like a little tear in his eye. Like he was really sad. So we're waterbed people. But we had to transition away because I think they were starting to get outlawed in the early 90s. Condo buildings wouldn't allow them on the second floor or third floor because of the leaks.
Because of the leaks.
Yeah, but yes, I was required to. And is there going to be a comeback? We actually tried it about 6 years ago, and it was an absolute improvement to the waterbed. Great product, great design. I slept on it. But unfortunately, the consumers didn't like the idea of draining and refilling, and the logistics of moving is really difficult.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the inner springs and hybrid and other mattresses in the market have really stepped up their games, so that there's a lot of other substitutes out there that are really, really good. So no more comeback as of right now.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in a family with a family-run business. What were conversations like around the table?
Yeah, so I think my dad and I love talking business. So we've been talking business at the dinner table ever since I was a little kid. And it's fun. Like it's a family business, it's competition, it's strategy, it's problem solving. We love our city family. So it's always been it's been a part of my life. It was great. My dad's amazing. He's such a good mentor and father, and I felt like I had both this awesome dad as well as this, full-time business mentor. So I couldn't have had it any better.
Around those table conversations when you were younger, was there always that idea in your head that you were going to carry on the tradition in the family?
It was actually something we never talked about, and I was a really big golfer at the time, and I wanted to go pro, and so I found the school that would take me, and went to a great school called Elon University and played for them. And but to be honest, it was all about golf my whole childhood. I mean, we talked about it, but golf first, to be honest with you. And then, but it wasn't until college where I'd play some of the top 5 schools in the U.S., Florida, Georgia. And I remember playing against them and be like, oh man, I gotta really practice hard in the next 4 or 5 years to get on these kids' level.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was actually very lucky. I had a phenomenal accounting teacher, a lot of great business teachers in college that really I learned that business is just so much fun and so exciting and challenging. And I love being like a leader, and I love leading teams. And so I really kind of just mentally pivoted, and I'm this type of person. I'm like all in or I'm not nothing. And it went from golf to business and all studies, trying to learn from everyone, trying to learn from Keith, all of his business buddies and friends. And I think ever since I was 18, 19, I just was like just die hard business, and I love it to this day. It's the most exciting thing that I do every day. So I love what we do.
Now you ended up getting degrees in finance and accounting, and you got an MBA as well?
Yep, yeah.
And was that part of a strategy to help you lead the business?
Yes, it was. I talked to all my dad's buddies, and I said, what do I need to study in school? And they said finance, accounting. So I was like, all right, done. And it was like unanimous. At least his circle of network, they said, get that knowledge, get that foundational base, and you're going to really use that as you grow into the business. And I'm so glad I did. And the MBA was awesome too. And I focused on entrepreneurialism as being like second generation kid growing up in my dad's business that he started as an entrepreneur with his brother. I wanted to kind of feel like what was that hunger like to build something from scratch. And so all of it was properly designed and thought through, and really glad that I did it.
You went overseas and you studied lean philosophy, which, if I'm correct, that's the Toyota's production kind of system, and you've incorporated that into City Home. Talk to us a little bit about why you follow that lean philosophy.
Totally. Back in Elon, I read a book, one of our operations management classes. The book's called The Machine That Changed the World by Jim Womack. And in the book, it highlights the difference between Toyota at that time, late 90s, early 2000s, the difference between Toyota and GM, Ford, Chrysler, even Honda, Hyundai, you name it. And I think Toyota at that time was worth the value of all those companies combined. So if you really understand the story of Toyota, they're from this island in Japan with almost no natural resources, but yet they built at that time the number one most profitable automobile manufacturer in the world, growing the fastest, happiest customers, happiest associates. And if you keep peeling the onion back, they do so much for society, the community, one of the greenest companies in the world. And again, I was drinking the business Kool-Aid, and I was like, this is the company I want to build. This is the type of business I want to work for. And so one of my spring breaks, I say, hey, Dad, instead of coming back home, I want to go to Japan, and I want you to talk to Jim Moran of JM Lexus Southeast Distribution Toyota, great business in the Southeast United States. I said, can you ask Jim to get me a tour? And they were friends in Fort Lauderdale. So he did, and I spent 7 days over there, got to see the behind-the-scenes tour and culture, philosophy, everything I read. And I was just an avid reader. I was reading everything I could find on Toyota. I was like, how are they doing this? And I was like, I got to see it firsthand. So the spring break, went over there. I got to see exactly what I was reading, learn more about the culture, the history, the thinking of how they run their business. And I immediately came back, was like, Keith, this is the way we need to run City, and this is how we're going to build a better business. And of course, in 2003, I'm a college kid, and he goes, what are you talking about, kid? We're up 800% in revenue growth over the last 10 years. You don't know what you're talking about. And rightfully so. I was like, okay, probably don't. But I kept reading, I kept studying, I kept visiting. I met Jim Womack and all the authors of all these books and Toyota experts, and getting tons of tours, and I just really kept learning, and I went to factories in Kentucky and you name it, all across the U.S. I mean, imagine some kid picking up the phone and calling the vice president of operations like, can I come and visit you? And they're like, what? Who are you? But they were such good people. They were like, yes, you're interested in philosophy. And everybody at Toyota, that knows about how they run their business, they know they have something special. And for people that are really adamant about, like, I want to bring your philosophy to my people and take care of my people the way you take care of your people, and they're like, okay, I'll give you a tour, I'll help you out, because they know it's special. And so in short, the Toyota production system, in American terminology, AKA is lean thinking, is really just a continuous improvement philosophy of how you run your business, and getting everybody to participate in identifying problems, solving problems, and just a lot of these principles that are common sense, but not so common sense at that time in American business. I was just gung ho, and the story goes on that, like, for 4 or 5 years, I tried convincing my father to implement lean thinking, and it wasn't until the Great Recession started poking its head out where he said, okay, let's do it. We need to reduce some waste. We need to streamline our operations. We need to improve morale, make our customers happier, grow, problem solve to grow revenue. Because the world was really scary in late 2007, right? I mean, you guys were doing a phenomenal job reporting on it. So we've been on a lean journey for 20 years since, and all of our metrics are going in the right direction. Cultures, customer stats, best year ever this year, financial revenue growth, profitability, financial balance sheet, you name it. And we're 20 years into our journey, which actually, it seems a lot, but it's not. And Toyota's been doing this for over 75 years, but it's really, truly once you learn about it, the right way to run a business.
Mm-hmm. So my understanding is you started out working in the warehouse at the company. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
There's a lot of physicality in our industry, and I knew that if I was going to earn the respect of our team, like, I had to roll up my sleeves and work side by side our ops team, and it was also a phenomenal time for me to learn the ground floor of our business, and I'm so glad I did, because that was so good for me. So I chose starting in the receiving docks, unloading containers, and did every job in the operations, and then a few years turned into a team leader, a year later to supervisor, all the way up to running operations one day, but just loved it. And to this day, I love visiting our warehouses. I'm still friends with all the guys that taught me, all my mentors, from back in the day, and it was just a phenomenal experience. I highly recommend it. If you're second generation, you got to start at the very bottom, and you got to learn everything. And then, as you grow, you'll have all that foundation that I bring to my jobs and my decision making now, and I'm so glad I did.
I've heard stories where you've had associates to your house. Your dad has had associates to the house. It really is a family business. Talk a little bit about that uniqueness of City Home.
Yeah, one of our corporate values is family spirit. Like, if you think about back in the day, Uncle Kevin, when he started Waterbed City, his first call was Keith, his brother. Like, I trust you, and like, let's build this. And so we always talk about that story. And we have a lot of family members, people that get married in our business, and they bring their family, second, third generations in. So we've always supported it, and we always love it, and creates an amazing culture. But Keith and my mom, Doreen, always brought people into their house, Halloween parties or annual company events or 15-year more recognition. So I saw all that growing up, and I was like, absolutely, that's the right way to do it. And as I was growing, I did the same things. Me and my wife would, host the recognition parties, the celebrations, the Kaizen team that did a huge event and made this huge progress. We're inviting you over this Sunday for a barbecue. Sales team hits numbers. Come on over. Like, why take them to a restaurant or anything like that? Like you open up people and invite their spouses into your home. Like, there's no better bonding. And then it also helps the lean philosophy. It helps the transparency. Like, I feel really comfortable with you, Andrew. Like, I can tell you anything. I know your kids, Andrew. Like, hey, I'm really struggling over here in this part of the business. Like, hey, I got this idea. So I'm always trying to kind of make it like I'm not CEO and they're not whatever role. Like, dude, we're just a team, and we're trying to figure this out together. And we say city family a lot. Our HR team does a great job of supporting that culture throughout all of our business and all the things that we do. And it's a real big advantage. I think I get a lot of productivity boosts out of it. I get a lot of great ideas out of it. We love it. Thank God my wife loves it. So, it's all good.
At Florida Polytechnic University, curiosity enlightens us. Discovery moves us. and innovation sparks us. We are Florida Poly.
Another philosophy that I understand you guys have embraced is sustainability. You have a goal to become carbon neutral by, is it 2040?
It is.
Can you talk about that and how you've kind of seen that, you're seeing that through with your fleet, your facilities, and all your operations?
Yeah, so way back when, I'd say early 2000s, my father, my uncle had some good green projects that were both environmentally friendly, financial savings, the best, like a win-win-win across the board. But as you guys know, as this newer generation really cares about like how these companies run and what are they doing for the environment and the community. So we decided to brand our strategy 2040 Green Promise after we started to really make some good headway. So all of our stores are Leadership Energy Environmental Design LEED certified, all new construction since I think 2005, 2006. Which, by the way, costs more, but over operational expenses over the long haul save us more money, right? And it's not just the right thing for the environment. Instead, in 2013, one of the first projects I ever worked on was compressed natural gas. So now our fleet's 100% compressed natural gas, as well as renewable natural gas, which is methane coming from landfills. So we've won the greenest private fleet in the U.S. for the last 6 years in a row. Not too many people know that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And by the way, the emissions are 70% less emissions, and my cost per gallon, I tell everybody this, is about $1.50. So right now everybody's freaking out with diesel.
Yeah.
Me and my fleet department are like, hey, we're still $1.50. And God forbid there's a hurricane. Well, the natural gas flows underground in the pipes. Our gas is going to keep flowing. God forbid we don't want that. A gas station goes down. There can be disruptions in fuel shipments pretty easily. Fuel's been amazing. We've recycled everything, that preventing a lot of landfill, but those trash compactor hauls are a fortune. Yeah, I think 70% of our stores now are powered by solar, which is awesome. We have a great partnership with FPL. I think you guys do a good job of covering them, and we love FPL. They're doing such a good job for the state. Nobody's perfect, but they're working really hard for all of us. But as we started doing these things, win for the environment, win for us financially, our associates really got behind it. Our customers love it. They choose us because of it. And we were like, let's brand this into something and let's make ultimately, we can get to carbon neutrality by 2040. And I've joked that I think I might change it to 2030 because we're making such good progress. But we have a sustainable council. We host an annual event at our facilities and invite everyone. We invite our competitors in because green technology isn't something I should hide to myself. I should share with everybody. And just make sure that everybody knows, because I was that small business trying to figure out how to do the CNG truck or how to do solar effectively. And if we can share ideas, we can get more of this going. And some of these smaller businesses can find out that you can actually save a whole bunch of money, retain your folks better, feel more purposeful, tied to the purpose of the business. So there's tons of wins for it, and we're real proud of our progress, but still got some work to do though.
Talk about investments in infrastructure. What are you guys investing in terms of buildings, in terms of technology and people, your workforce?
Yeah, a lot of investment. So in home furnishings, it's a capital intensive business. So you got to have a beautiful store, and we're building less of them, but we're building better and bigger, beautiful destinations. Something where the average customer buys a sofa every 8 years. So it's not like milk where you're like, oh, I got to drive back to the supermarket this week, 3 times this week. It's like you're going every 8 years or 6, 7 years, And so it's got to be a beautiful experience. So you have to spend a lot of money on a beautiful store in our perspective. You got to make it an inspirational shopping journey. So you got to have technology. The stores have to be leadership or green, so operational savings. So a lot of infrastructure there. We talked about supply chain. So I have 4 warehouses, very costly, CapEx intensive, racks, equipment, technology, material handling equipment, the trucks, you name it. So that's a huge investment. And because we believe in the people are our greatest asset, so we're constantly developing, training. We do quarterly individual development plans, so we're trying to help people continue to grow their skill sets. Right now we're investing several $100,000 in technology and Claude AI skills. Almost I think 600-700 people. Our team has access to using Claude every single day, and so we are very aggressive when it comes to investing in our people, technology, our process, our infrastructure, and to a point where we really work our accounting team hard to time every penny carefully, because you got to be really careful. And then you think about this rebrand of City Home. It's like, oh man, I got to redo all the trucks. I got to do all the signs over. And now I'm adding all this renovation costs to our stores and building all this new infrastructure in our stores. So it's a very capital intensive business, but it's very financially rewarding if you can nail it. And that customer says, I love it, I want it today, and blah, blah, blah. So it's a challenging industry to break through because of the investment money you need.
You mentioned the new City Home brand. Yes. Tell us about that and what this whole reinvention means.
Yeah, so City Furniture is now City Home. Our tagline is your first stop for all things home. What we look through the data is just customers' shopping journeys for everything home. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. So if you think about a customer moving, building a new home, they need more than just furniture, home decor, and a mattress. They need appliances, they need TVs, they need a connected home, they might need some green living products, fitness products, so flooring, kitchens. So we've decided, like, let's go all in at serving our customer and taking great care of them from A to Z. And a very important customer is the moving customer, is the customer building a new home. Like, that's where usually, I'm sure everybody here is like, when you have that first year you're in your new apartment or new home, like, you're buying a lot of stuff. You're trying to figure it out. And I'm a furniture guy, and it even takes me 2 years to get my home looking the way I want it to look after I moved in. And my wife and I have built a couple homes in our day, and it's just a tough shopping journey. So the fact that you can go into one store, see everything, one sales experience, one person to call, one brand to trust, one delivery, and we're able to drive down the affordability. So by buying appliances, we're going to help, offset furniture and vice versa. So we're going to create a lot of synergies to help drive down the ticket. That's something my dad and my uncle were always really good at, just passing on value to the customer. So this is going to be another way we're passing on value to the customer, not only financially, but also time. I mean, the time is going to be dramatically reduced. Now, the key with us is we're not going to have 70 million blue sofas or kitchens or whatever, but the key is you'll be able to touch, feel, make sure everything works, and get a seamless one delivery versus 7 if you were to buy online and try to coordinate everything and hope it comes right and hope it looks and matches and connects properly. So we're just listening to the customer, where they're going, and really constantly trying to serve them and add more value. And the feedback from our customers and our sales team has been just through the roof. Like, they're like, Andrew, everybody wants it more, quicker, faster, and it's really exciting evolution of the business.
I'm curious about the trends with furniture and people's tastes. How do you keep up with that, and how quickly do they change? What are some sort of hot trends you're seeing right now? One
of the philosophies of that we've always learned, we teach, is go and see. So I am constantly going and seeing at all the fashion furniture shows around the world or home. So unfortunately, I got to go to Paris and Milan, and
what a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame, and my wife has got to come. But I encourage our buying team to shop the world, all the fashion-focused home furnishings events, and KBIS is really amazing. Kitchen Bath International Show in the U.S. is amazing. A lot of great inspiration there. So we got to go to all these conferences, and these lead designers, lead manufacturers really set the trends 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Usually it's the high end that sets the trend, kind of like in cars, like the Ferraris or the whoever, and those styles kind of trickle down to the Toyotas and the Hondas. But we're traveling the world, we're seeing where the trends are, and our buyers have to be like right on it. And if we can be ahead of the curve, a year or two than everybody else, that's a lot of market capture opportunity you have. So we spend a lot of time talking and thinking about that. And now that we're in all these other categories, now I got to go to the home robotics show in China, and I got to go to the home automation show over here, and so it's an interesting shift. But there's a lot of cool conferences, shows that help us kind of see where the world's going.
We look at Keith as an iconic leader across Florida, and we recently had him in our office talking with us. And one of the things that he shared with us was I'm the boss, but I report to Andrew. Essentially saying, he sees you as the CEO, the person who's running, and he's following in your footsteps now. And I paraphrase it, but he said, Andrew is the right leader at the right time to move our organization forward. And it takes a lot for a leader who has been running an organization for so many years to step back and realize, I need to let the person who's going to be able to take the company to that next level really lead. Talk a little bit more about that relationship with your dad and continuing to drive the business forward.
Yeah, I think it starts with who he is, just as a human being. He's just super humble, and he doesn't have an ego, and he never did any of this for an ego. He never did this for anything other than just being a good leader and running a good business. And so he's always been very humble. In those early days when I can go at a faster speed. I'm in a different life situation where like I'm ready for this. My wife's ready for this. We can work hard. We can have those dinners and family dinners with the team over as aggressive. Like he's been doing this for 55 years. I want to break.
It's time
after
for a little
50 years.
break. Yeah.
And actually, I think now he's living the ultimate chairman route. Role. And he's this like offensive coordinator in the booth, in my ear. I have him available to challenge me on any play or give me an idea here or there. But he's only speaking when he really needs to speak, and he's chiming in on the thing that I could be missing or I am missing, and or he's reinforcing like you're doing the right thing there. Keep pushing. I love that. And vice versa. So he's just been an unbelievable mentor and living the chairman role. And I would encourage anybody to reach out to him as they step into that chairman role. He's just living it perfectly. Because you do there has to be some let going in order for me to be the respected CEO that I need to be for my leadership team. But as he's let go and we've gotten a really good groove these last few years, he's happier than ever. I think he's happier than ever. And if anything, I think he has more energy, and he's focusing his time on the problems that maybe some of us can't get to, and stuff that he really wants to see fixed. So he's leading those projects and doing things that I think he really loves to do. So I think it's been an awesome win for him, and I hope to be a chairman like him one day, and because I want that job. And he looks like he's got a really fantastic balance of the rewards of 55-year career, but still on the pulse of the business. We're in a really good sync, and I've heard from family businesses and people trying to let go. I do think I wish more people would reach out to Keith, because I think he's done a masterful job at being the chairman.
Absolutely. If I can jump back to one more question. Philanthropy, giving back to the community. We talked about Keith and his kind of new role. And I think he also taken on more responsibilities across the state and getting involved in different board activities that may be outside the realm of city, but has an effect on Florida's industry as well. Talk to us about giving back from a personal standpoint and from a company standpoint.
He and my uncle were always very, very religious guys. And they were the business entrepreneurs that as they had success, they would write checks and just mail it to the people and not even call them. And here's a really cool check in the bank account, and some philanthropic organization would call back the next day. Oh my God, thank you. So unbelievable guys. Now, about 10 years ago, I remember obviously diving into the financials and saying, hey, this donation line item, digging into it, this is an unbelievable story, Keith. I know the percentage of giving of what most organizations do, and you're several notches above it. And I was like, we need our customers to understand this. We need our associates to understand this. I know we don't want to brag about it, but we need to make sure that they know we're truly a giving back organization. A lot of people moving to Florida at that time don't know who we are. So way back when, we decided to brand it our 5% giving pledge. So, we give back a minimum of 5% of our profits to 5 pillars of home, which would be like Habitat for Humanity. Service would be like first responders, military. Belonging, like Urban League or Hispanic Heritage Foundation. education, like any university or school or junior achievement, and then health. My mom died of cancer, so we give a lot to American Cancer Society, American Heart Association. So we found like there was some 5 themes in our giving. We branded it the 5% because we were well above giving that, by the way. And we made it a public pledge, like, hey, we're like, this is who we are as a business. When you shop with us or when you work with us, you can feel good that we're going to do good for the community. We have a great community team that, looks at every penny, makes sure the organizations we're giving it to is executing on their what they're saying they're going to do. We measure their performance. Like we use the Toyota continuous improvement philosophy and how we treat our philanthropic organizations. And so it's been amazing. It's attracted some of the best people we've attracted because they find out that we're doing all this great work in the world. It helps retain people. And I've joked a lot that I think our giving strategies have sometimes been better forms of marketing than our TV commercials.
Yeah.
I got women in our stores that will come up to me and say, hey, my mom's fighting breast cancer. I'm shopping here forever. Because they know the story about my mom. We have activations in our store. If you walk into any of our store right now, they'll ask you for 5 to 8 minutes of your time to do a test rest, and we'll donate $10 to American Cancer Society. That is several $100,000 a year that goes to them. I'm the chair of the CEOs Against Cancer for the state of Florida. So if any CEO out there wants to be a part of our group, come on over, give me a call. But so I've learned from Keith, you got to give back. We're very lucky because of the community, and so that is who we are. That's our 7th corporate value, giving back. So we have all these 6 other corporate values, and then it's like, all right, if we have success, we give back, and we measure that give back. We get better at it every year, and we truly feel like we're making an impact on Florida. So it feels good.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today with us. This has been just an enlightening conversation, and we really appreciate everything that you're doing for the state of Florida and continuing to drive commerce. So thank you so much.
Thank you for you. Thank you for Florida Trend. I read it as soon as I get it every month, and I think your reporting is absolutely fantastic. And I hope for a lot of business leaders like myself, I really need it. So I hope you believe in what you're doing because it's really, truly important. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. That is music to our ears.
Every new day is a moment to build something that will change everything. This university was built with intention, engineered with purpose. We are Florida's only public university built entirely for STEM. A university built for today and the future beyond it. Florida Polytechnic University. Different by design.